If you're an Aussie, you already know what this is. This is a 1988 VL Walkinshaw. And this is not just any one, this is a genuine one, not a replica. This thing is crazy. One of my favorite parts about this thing is the styling. It is, in the best way possible, ridiculous. I love the way that it looks, but it is completely factory. If you're not familiar with this car, standard body kit, this is exactly how it came out of the shop. It's such an eye-catching car. I mean, if you're driving it and you see this, it's a neck snapper. They all came in this sort of silvery blue called Panorama Silver, and it's sort of the defining colour of the VL Walkinshaw. I absolutely love the styling, like I said before. I mean, look at the size of this wing. I can almost fit my head under it. Styling of this car is by far the most iconic part of it. So this car was a lot of firsts. It was the first HSV. I mean, that is a little bit up for debate. First HSV, and it was also the first Holden that came out with Holden's injected 5-litre. We will get to that in a second. But this car is extremely special, extremely rare, and the price of this really reflects that. You're not getting this for $5,000 or $10,000 like some other VLs. So there was only 750 of these made. That's it. That's all. 750, and this is build number 134. There are plenty of mock-ups around, but I think that the mock-ups would be quite challenging because everything about this car is special to it, from the steering wheel, the seat material, the body kit. It would be extremely difficult, I think, to do a replica that would do this car justice. And the intake manifold alone on this car is worth the best part of $25,000. So all 750 of these left Dandenong looking exactly like this, and the first 500 sold really quickly, but the subsequent 250 weren't really selling in the late 80s. So the dealers tried to do some things to make them sell. So 9 of them had Calais fronts, a handful of them had sunroofs, and a handful had leather, but the vast majority look like this. Now, if you're into Commodores, I'm sure you've seen these before, the famous VL Walkinshaw wheels. These have been reproduced to 20-inch ones, and you see these all the time on newer cars, and this is the car really that they were born from. Another awesome little tidbit is all of these cars come factory with rolled guards. So this car, to save weight, actually never came with any plastic inner guard liners. However, some cars like this one have had the front ones fitted just to stop the rocks being thrown up on the inside of the guard and ditching it from the outside. I know I keep banging on about the styling, but that is really what separates this car from other VLs. Back in the late 80s, this car was designed in a wind tunnel, obviously with the standard VL platform. Now, I'm lucky enough to have sat in a lot of VLs and a lot of early Commodores. This one is really nice. Now, these were actually based off the VL Berliner, and it shows everything is really nice in here, and these seats are fantastic. They really hold you and hug you, and I guess that makes sense because this car was made for racing. This interior is just really, really nice. It's all put together. Everything is there, and it feels really different than a normal VL, especially with all this material and cloth, and it really hugs you. And I really, really like this steering wheel with the big, HSV logo. And this car's just, it's really cool. This is really a piece of Australian motoring history, and I can't believe that I'm sitting in one. Let's have a look at what's under the bonnet, though, because that is one of the most special things about this car. Now, if you follow the channel, I'm sure you're familiar with this motor. This is Holden's injected 5-litre. This was the very first car that came with this motor in this form, injected. And there is a lot of cool stuff about this one. It has twin throttle bodies, and this intake manifold is worth an absolute fortune. I've only ever seen one other one of these in the flesh, and it's pretty cool. In terms of power, we are making 180 kilowatts at the crank, and by today's standards, that doesn't sound like a lot. But remember, this is in the late 80s, and this car doesn't weigh very much. So this car will go really, really well. And if I'm honest, I'm pretty excited to drive it. But the best thing about these motors by far, which if you follow the channel, you know, is the sound of these things. I absolutely love the sound of the whole 5-litre. So let's hear it. Guys, we are driving the VL Walkinshaw, and obviously this thing drives fantastic, and because of the significance of this car, I'm not doing 0 to 100s and stuff like that, but this car, like any other Brock or any other HSV, gets a lot of attention on the road. Lots of people looking at it. Gearbox is super nice and tight, and runs and drives great. It's a really cool experience, if I'm honest. A bit there you go. We just got I got that on camera. That's funny. As you see, I just got a thumbs up from Civil Hardscape Concrete. Again, only 750 of them, so they really do stand out like dog's balls. Again, there's not much to say that I haven't said already. I'm just nerding out a little bit over this car because it is, you know, it's a piece of Australian history. As I've said before, first HSV, first injected 5 litre, and this thing runs like an absolute dream. A car like this, as original as it is, would demand a price of just over $200,000. It looks great, it drives great, and it sounds even better. The main reasons why you wouldn't see too many of these cars anymore is mainly the dollar value. You know, like I said before, these are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you know, they're not going to be in the hands of P-platers. They're all in the hands of car collectors, car enthusiasts, people that really care about these cars and love them. So a lot of them live in sheds or museums or whatever. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly have. This thing is, it's just a piece of Australian motoring history, and I can't believe that someone so kindly lent me this car. Extremely rare, first HSV, first injected 5 litre, 750 of them ever made, one of Holden's most iconic cars, and yeah, really, really cool, the old plastic pig. So if these are your kind of cars, please follow along, subscribe, and thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Or if you would like your car on the channel, please comment, send me an email or whatever, I will get back to you. But I absolutely adore these things, so thank you very much.